All right, welcome everybody. I'm Andrew Ray, the program chair for Built Environment Programs housed on the West Campus, and have been involved with sustainability since its inception at Valencia in 2005 with a committee and help facilitate some of the sustainability across the curriculum with some of my faculty partners, incorporating and infusing sustainability into some of our courses. So welcome to the college sustainability conference, our first one. It's a pleasure to be the host for this session. Valencia College Office of Sustainability is turning 10 years old and is celebrating by hosting this free virtual conference for Valencia students, faculty, staff, and the community. The conference runs from October 12th through the 14th and addresses topics ranging from sustainability in our community and in higher education to environmental justice and sustainability perspectives from public policy, science, and technology. We'd like to inform you again, this session is being recorded and the recordings will be made available after the conference. For Valencia students, each session you attend, you will be entered into a drawing for prizes at the end of the conference, including stasher bags, portable solar chargers, and even an iPad. The more sessions you attend, the greater your chances of winning. You must be actively enrolled Valencia student to win. When we say sustainability, what do we mean? The common definition for environmental sustainability is from the Brundtland Commission to the United Nations in 1987, describing it as a meeting of the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Throughout this conference, we'll be looking at sustainability and what it means to live and work using our finite natural resources responsibly in order that they will be around for future generations to do the same. Valencia's, what does the Office of Sustainability do? Our mission is to promote and execute operational practices in the service of environmental, economic, and social responsibility for current and future generations, while effectively communicating and educating about the significance of those practices for people and the planet. Our vision is to serve as a sustainability role model in our community. One way to summarize all of this is with the triple bottom line, which emphasizes measuring success in three areas: environmental, economic, and social responsibility, or said another way, the three Ps: people, planet, and prosperity. Our Sustainability Office focuses on the operations of the college. This goes into many ways, including waste and recycling, energy and water conservation, transportation, grounds, and food. We are proud to be here today putting on this virtual conference to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the establishment of the Office of Sustainability. It was created in the fall of 2011 with the hiring of the first Sustainability Director, Dr. Deborah Green, an environmental science faculty member at Valencia. Over the years, Valencia has accomplished many things within sustainability, having gone from one green certified building to 12, improved and expanded recycling college-wide, including winning recycling competitions, as well as increased energy efficiency, saving millions of dollars through both mechanical and behavior changes, just to name a few. None of this was accomplished without the support of our students, faculty, and staff. Thank you to each and everyone who's been involved with sustainability, whether it was 10 years or more ago, or sometime along our journey today. Thank you. So our objectives, what's in store for sustainability for the next 10 years and beyond. Our three primary objectives are obtain carbon neutrality by 2050, reduce the waste the college generates, improve water conservation and stormwater management. Our goal is carbon neutrality, and it encompasses energy efficiency and conservation, renewables, and addressing our transportation-related emissions. So you can get involved. In order to be successful and accomplish these goals, we need your help. There are numerous ways to get involved. You can join a student club or get connected with SGA and the SGA Sustainability Officer at your campus. Also, there are opportunities for food waste champions to assist with our food waste recycling education at our East and West campuses. You can join our Tree Campus Higher Education Committee, helping provide input to our tree care and plantings. And we are a Tree Campus USA site. Keep up to date with ways to get involved in upcoming events by following us on social media. To find out more about any of these opportunities, please email sustainability@valenciacollege.edu. Now for our session presentation. Big thank you to our session presenters. Today we have Carrie Black from Valencia College, our Sustainability Director, and Jara Watson, who is from UCF at their Sustainability. And I'm going to give a bio of both of them in a minute. So the conference will continue the rest of today and tomorrow. We have some great sessions coming up. So you can see on the schedule here the sessions for today and tomorrow. And there's a really good one tonight as well. And the City of Orlando, Chris Castro, I think you'll find that one very interesting. You can visit tiny.cc/VCSUST to find out more information. Thank you. Again, the conference information, our presenter and attendees for this great session. Connect with the Office of Sustainability on social or via email. After the conference session recordings will be on our YouTube channel, which a direct URL to it is on the screen. Thanks everyone and have a great day. All right, so I'm going to stop the share here. And I'm going to introduce our first presenter. And actually, I'll do both of the bios here so that you don't have to listen to me anymore. So Carrie Black is the Director of Energy Conservation and Sustainability at Valencia, where she leads the sustainable operations of the college as we work toward achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. Prior to joining Valencia, she started and directed the sustainability efforts at Jacksonville University while teaching in their sustainability degree program. She also co-founded a sustainability festival highlighting local environmental resources, organizations, and businesses in the region. Carrie earned her undergraduate degree in psychology from Western University in St. Louis and her Master of Science in Environmental Planning and Management from Johns Hopkins University. She is a leader with the local U.S. Green Building Council, where she also serves as the chair of Green Schools Committee. Jada Watson is the sustainability specialist at UCF, where she drives the reporting, outreach, and marketing components of the Office of Sustainability and Outreach, and supports the development of campus sustainability objectives. Jara has lived all over Central Florida, venturing north to Gainesville for her bachelor's in sustainability studies at the University of Florida, then south to Tampa to complete her master's in global sustainability at the University of South Florida's Patel School, before heading back to her hometown of Orlando, with a goal of fostering a culture of sustainability among UCF students, faculty, and staff. Yara coordinates campus sustainability programs such as Campus Sustainability Month and the Sustainability Working Advisory Team's SWAT. She also manages the campus greenhouse gas inventory and sustainability reporting. She has worked with local nonprofits, global NGOs, and city governments in sustainable practice planning and integrated organic agricultural financial literacy training programs. And with that, I turn it over to Carrie.
Thank you so much, Professor Ray. I'll go ahead and share my screen. You guys all see that? Perfect. As Professor Ray said, I am Carrie Black. I'm the Director of Energy Conservation here at Valencia, and it's such an honor to be here with all of you today. And I for one, am very excited also for my colleague's presentation, Jada Watson for UCF. And part of the idea behind creating creating this presentation and this session was so that way our current Valencia students could learn about what we're doing. And then if they happen to use Direct Connect and go to UCF to finish up, they would also know what their future school is doing and all the great work that's being done here in Central Florida. So excited to have each and every one of you here today and to be sharing about sustainability and the great work that we're doing. And as part of that, as Professor Ray said, we are here celebrating 10 years of the Office of Sustainability. That's huge. So just to kind of put that into perspective, there are 28 Florida state colleges, and of those, only 3 other colleges have a sustainability or energy manager, and some of those are newer positions, less than 3 years old. And I think one of my colleagues from one of those schools is here joining us today. So thanks for representing Seminole State. I see you. And so there's lots of work to be done, especially in our state college system. And we are brainstorming and working on ways to help our other sister colleges start and continue on their sustainability journeys. But so just wanted to kind of put that out there so that we can see like this is huge to be here celebrating 10 years of our Office of Sustainability. And as Professor Ray also alluded to, the work started well before the office was created. So I just want to give a shout out and a huge thanks to those people who had the foresight to go ahead and start efforts at Valencia to help us get started on our sustainability journey. The AVP back in 2005, the Assistant Vice President of Facilities, Helen Losell, created the Sustainability Committee. And from there, they started efforts that would then lead to the creation of the Office of Sustainability. So all the faculty members and staff members listed here on the page, and there were many more, but just wanted to give a shout out and appreciation to these faculty members and staff and members of the Valencia community who saw the need and started, because it's really, it just takes one person to kind of start that ripple effect. And as you can see here we all are today and celebrating the office's work of being here 10 years and all the work that we have accomplished, which we will talk about today. So as we've been working on lots of different things, and so we are committed to achieving carbon neutrality or being net zero energy by 2050. And so I'm going to share a brief highlight of some of the things what we've been working on and where we're going. So energy, to start there, we have now 12 green certified buildings. So our first green certified building was back in 2009 on West Campus. And we now have within our standards that a building has to be at least 2 green globes certified, and that is out of 4. And basically there's 2 green certifying organizations out there, and we've been lead, and now we are green globes. But the essence of this is that basically it's making sure that the buildings where we spend 90% of our time, making sure that they are energy efficient, water efficient, that they're close to resources so that people don't have to jump in their car to go get food that's 5 miles away, that there's things walkable, and that there's public transportation nearby. So really being holistic when we're looking at our buildings and the sites that they're on, and making sure that they are safe, healthy places and with resources nearby. So still very proud to share that we are now up to 12 green certified buildings. The last one being the Osceola Kit building right before the pandemic hit. And so some of these features include LED lighting and vacancy sensors, natural day lighting, so that way you actually get some daylight in and the lights adjust to that lighting level. Also low and no VOC products, native plantings, and high efficiency window glazing systems as well. Just a few things. And so also to share a historic snapshot, as we said, even before the office started, work was well underway. So the first solar array was installed on the West Campus on building 11. And so that was in 2009, and it produces on average over 9,000 kilowatt hours per month. And so that represents about 16% of the building's energy usage. And I'm excited to share that we are working on adding more solar energy to our college. So we are looking specifically at Point Siena, and we're looking at adding solar there in order to make it a net zero energy campus. So that means that over the course of a year, the amount of energy that is produced from the solar arrays would equal to the amount of energy used by the campus. So we are in the early stages of this, and it's looking like it will be a roof-mounted array. So on the rooftop, just like at building 11 on West, but then also ground-mounted as well. So having some arrays on the ground. But we are very excited about this, and so definitely keep your eyes open for more information to come as we move forward in this project. But very excited about this development. So also in energy, we've been upgrading parking lot lighting to LED. So we did this at numerous campuses, including West, Osceola, Lake Nona, SPS, and East. And these upgrades involve removing old, inefficient metal halide lights and replacing them with LEDs. This project will save over 787,000 kilowatt hours annually, which is equivalent to taking 120 passenger vehicles off the road. So in normal pre-pandemic operations, this would have a typical payback period of around 3 years. So that's huge. We also were able to replace chillers at both our west and east campus. These chillers are part of our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, and they're like the heart of the system. And so a very big change, and that will help improve the efficiency of the systems that help heat and cool our buildings. So that is a huge energy saving. And also, I'm very excited that this semester we will begin working on our energy transition plan. So we are committed to carbon neutrality by 2050, but it's time to update and revise our game plan of how we achieve that. And so we're going to be focusing specifically on our purchased electricity, so that electricity that runs our buildings, and how do we get there, including milestone goals along the way so that we can achieve it by 2050, if not before. So that's something that we are currently getting started on and very excited about that process. So as I was talking about our carbon neutrality goal, if you haven't picked up on it already, that's kind of our true north. That is going to be taking a lot of our time, and that's what we're striving for. Is the nation and the world looks at going towards carbon neutrality as well. And so a big part for us is transportation. So as you can see in this pie chart here, this represents the greenhouse gas emissions of Valencia College. So you'll see this small little sliver of dark blue, and that is our scope 1 emissions, which is essentially our Valencia's fleet vehicles. So the Valencia owned and operated vehicles that we use for maintenance and getting around between different campuses. So the greenhouse gas emissions that come from those operations are represented by that small little blue sliver. And then in the green part, that is scope 2, or basically that purchased electricity that we were talking about for our energy transition plan. And then for the most of the pie here, this 83, almost 84%, that represents our transportation emissions. And so when we talk about transportation emissions, this includes students, faculty, and staff commuting to and from campuses, as well as any airfare associated with Valencia College business, so study abroad or flying to events in the country or whatnot like that. So as you can see, transportation is going to be a big part of what we're focusing on as we work towards carbon neutrality by 2050. And then, as we've been looking at our emissions and how do we kind of chip away at transportation. Then the pandemic hit, and for our Valencia College employees back in March of 2020, this message was sent out by the president saying most employees will work remotely until at least April 27th. Oh, hindsight, if we only knew then what we knew now. So I found this little nugget and thought I'd share because we had no idea. But now, a year and a half later, a lot of us are still working either hybrid or remotely. And we moved from mostly on in-person, face-to-face courses to online completely. And then now mixed mode and real-time virtual. And so we've done a lot and made a lot of changes with this pandemic that would have taken years to do otherwise. So as we're looking at transportation, we're beginning to ask questions of, well, what does learning look like now as we're beginning to transition back with the pandemic, hopefully continuing to slow down, and how can we best serve our students with technology, so online learning or online tutoring and whatnot like that. So looking at learning, and then also how we work and where we work. We were really successful with meeting students' needs working remotely. So how can we get creative with that? And this is just one tool in the toolbox as we're looking at our transportation emissions. When we do need to come to campus, making sure that public transportation is available so that everyone can get to campus if they don't have a personal vehicle. And so we have a partnership with Links, and it's called the Paw Pass program. It is an app in your app store on your phone. Download it. It takes about 24 hours for the full registration to go through. But then once that's done, you have to do it once every year. Then you can just scan that barcode and you can be able to ride the bus for free. And it doesn't have to be to Valencia. So you can ride it to the mall, you can ride it wherever you need to go, ride it to work. But that is a great way that we've partnered with Links to be able to make sure that students, faculty, and staff, so it's open to all of Valencia community, can be able to access public transportation. And also, when it's safe to do so and as you feel comfortable, Rethink Your Commute is a program offered by the Florida Department of Transportation to encourage and incentivize carpooling, but also alternative methods of getting to work. So whether that's biking, walking, taking the bus, and you can log your trips and earn points and coupons and discounts to local businesses, as well as they also offer a free ride home in case when you're carpooling and somebody needs to leave early, they'll cover your ride home. So a great program that is available once you just register with them as well. So also, when you are on campus, on West Campus, we have done some beautification to make sure, you know, health and wellness and getting outdoors is really important, especially with mental health these days. So we have added a beautiful coquina shell path around Lake Pamela. You could see remnants of it before the pandemic, and so now we have gone and refreshed that. So it took 26 total dump truck loads of the shell to be able to create that full path, but it is beautiful, and that way you can see some wildlife as well, and a great way to get some fresh air in between studying. And we've also expanded the West Trail to reach Kirkman. So at the bus stop on West, you can now reach Kirkman Road right by the Walmart Plaza there and get there safely. And then you'd only be a mile away from a beautiful park on President Barack Obama Parkway that is beautiful and a hidden treasure that's just a mile away from campus, and that is accessible via bike trails as well. So definitely worth coming to West Campus and checking out. So another area that sustainability works in is waste and recycling. And growing up, we hear, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, but it seems like they're all kind of lateral. They're all kind of on the same plane, but actually there is indeed a hierarchy in waste. And the first option is not recycling, it's reducing. Hey, do you really need that? And then it's reusing, repairing, and then it's recycling. So, you know, do you really need that straw? Do you really need this? So looking at what do we really need and then reusing as much as possible. And then it's recycling. So talking about reducing and going virtual and online, we did see a reduction in printing. So by going virtual, we saved actually a significant amount of money on paper and all the things associated with printing. So in the full year that we're basically online and remote, we saved over $200,000. So definitely some financial savings there that can then be applied to more student-facing events. So just an interesting tidbit there that I wanted to share. Like there were actually, you know, large financial savings. And we've also added in more water bottle fill stations. So now there is at least one in every building, if not on every floor. And these are cold, filtered water stations that are available. So bring your reusable water bottle and fill it up. It's nice and cold and free. So definitely a great resource that's available college-wide, and that has been expanded. And also, we are very proud of our plastic writing instrument and battery recycling program. So basically your plastic markers, so whether these are dry erase markers, highlighters, permanent markers, anything that's plastic that can write can be recycled in these bins, as well as alkaline batteries. So they're small bins, but you'll see it highlighted here on the side of our standard waste and recycling bins. So they're one per floor per building college-wide. We try to put them on the main entrances, so be on the lookout for those for your plastic markers and your alkaline batteries to be able to recycle those. Speaking of recycling, what's recyclable here at Valencia when you are on campus? Basically, in general, it's paper, so office paper, flattened cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs, so basically ones and twos, and then also metal cans. And the kind of golden rule of recycling is clean, dry, and empty. So if it's a number one plastic, you go to Starbucks and you get a iced drink, a cold drink, but you get foam on top. And if there's that foam residue on the sides of the cup, you have to rinse that out really quickly, shake it out, make sure it's pretty dry, and then you put it in the recycling bin. So it does have to be clean, dry, and empty. That is the golden rule of recycling. And one of our latest initiatives I'm very excited to share is we have been working on food composting, so food waste recycling. We've had this program available at West Campus and then also with our culinary program at Downtown Campus. But we have not been able to offer it at East Campus until this semester. We partnered with the local company, O-Town Compost, and they now come and collect the food waste from our kitchen operations and are composting those for us. Once the compost is finished, they are donating it to a local farm. And so we are so excited to be able to expand this food waste collection program to East Campus. And in the first week, we saw 60 pounds collected. So definitely thrilled to be partnering with O-Town and be able to expand this to East. And we're hoping in the future that we can get it to Osceola, but more to come on that. Well, that is a quick snapshot of some of the things we've been working on in sustainability here at Valencia. Here is my contact information, and we'll be doing some Q&A at the end as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I will turn it over to my colleague, Yara.
Thanks so much, Carrie, and thank you so much, Professor Ray, for that introduction. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with all of you. And Carrie, can you confirm that you're seeing that all right? Perfect. So again, my name is Jada Watson Colon. I am the Sustainability Specialist for the University of Central Florida. I've been in my position now for about 5 years. I think Professor Ray gave me a wonderful introduction. I'll just add that before I came back to UCF, the Orlando area where I grew up, I did some work in Uganda and financial literacy and integrated organic agriculture, but I'm super excited to be working in Orlando and working in higher ed on wonderful programs like this and working with students like you. I hope to see some of you at the UCF campus once you finish up at Valencia and are ready to continue your education at UCF. So today I'm primarily going to keep it very high level and take you through our sustainability journey at UCF, what we've been doing over the past 10, 15 years and what some of our successes are. But then I want to focus a bit on what our future planning is looking like. We've started a new strategic planning process at the university that's going to include all of our campuses. I'm sure Carrie can relate of the difficulty of managing sustainability programs on multiple campuses, which each have unique needs. So this is our first effort to expand sustainability to our other campuses in a holistic manner. And then I'm also going to talk about a subset of the sustainability plan we're doing at the same time, which is our energy transition plan, which is going to be a deeper dive in how we get to net zero emissions. So I'll start off by saying that back in 2010, we published our first climate action plan. And so this new sustainability plan is a follow-up to that. We had lots of goals laid out in that plan, both in operations and academics, but there was a heavy emphasis on reaching carbon neutrality. So back in 2007, our previous president, President Hick, committed us to becoming a carbon neutral campus by 2050. And I know some people may be rolling their eyes of 2050 being a bit too far out, but at the time that was pretty progressive. We were one of the first colleges to make that climate commitment. In our new sustainability planning process, we are relooking that 2050 goal and seeing how we can maybe move that a bit forward and reach that at an earlier time period. But we have met a lot of our goals so far, including a LEED campus certification and individual LEED building certification. Carrie gave a great primer on what LEED certification is and what high performance buildings do. On average, they save us about 30 to 40% in water and electricity use. So not only do they make sense for the environment, they also make sense for that bottom line, going back to that people, planet, prosperity model. So we have almost 30 LEED certified buildings on between all of our campuses so far. And we have now moved to the stage of certifying existing buildings. So a lot of times when you're seeing a LEED certified building, it's a newly built building that was built to LEED certifications. We're going back and retrofitting existing buildings to meet LEED certifications as well. One of the goals that we set in the climate action plan that we haven't met quite yet is our renewable energy goals. So we missed the mark to be 15% renewable by 2020, but we have on the books a proposal for a 12 megawatt site on campus that'll help us reach that 15%. Another difficult goal that we're striving for is reaching 75% diversion rate. We're sitting around the national average of around 40%, but we have a lot of efforts underway to increase that, including we recently relabeled all of our recycling and waste bins to be more clear about what we do and do not recycle. We're working with lots of student groups to conduct waste audits and composition studies so we can help inform our education for the campus. On the subject of education, we also have several academic goals within our climate action plan. But one of the primary methods of helping students learn about sustainability is integration in the curriculum and living laboratory opportunities. I think living laboratory opportunities is one of our strengths. We have lots of built and natural assets on campus, including over 800 acres of natural lands on site that our students can explore in trails. But we also have a combined heat and power plant that has helped to reduce our emissions by 15% and our operating costs over the last 9 years because we produce our own energy on site with natural gas, which is not a renewable energy, and we are looking to phase out eventually. But it did help us to reduce our emissions compared to buying that energy from our energy provider. So we do some tours of those combined heat and power plant facilities, as well as our district energy plants. Our newest district energy plant is actually a LEED certified building. It's our first industrial LEED certification. We're pretty proud of that. And we built it with color coding so that students can go in during tours and see how our chilled water is processed and how that thermal energy storage helps us to save on energy and water. We've had a lot of accomplishments through the years. We are also a Tree Campus USA. We have a beautiful urban tree canopy that we're constantly developing and expanding. We are a Silver Stars campus as well. We recently recertified Silver. So some of you may be familiar with ASHE, the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. They have a benchmarking system that rates sustainability in higher education institutions across the world, but primarily in North America. So we are currently rated silver, and we're looking to increase that rating. It not only looks at our operational sustainability, but also how we integrate sustainability in academics, both curriculum and research, our planning processes, and our finances. So we're hoping to become a platinum rated university, and our planning process now is looking at how do we do that over the next 10 years. We're also B Campus USA, and this is one of those things that is primarily through the work of our students on campus, helping to plant pollinator gardens and create educational opportunities for students to engage in pollinator work. We also have many awards for our built environment in both our LEED certifications, and we were also recently featured in District Energy Magazine for our water conservation efforts. Speaking about our emissions, one of our primary goals, again, is becoming a carbon neutral campus. So taking a look at how our emissions have tracked over the last 10 years, you can see that we have had some decreases, but we're not hitting the mark just yet. One of the ongoing jokes about UCF is it stands for under construction forever. And you can see that we've had a lot of rapid growth through the years. But even though we've grown rapidly in gross square footage and of course in enrollment, now reaching around 62,000 students, we've still managed to decrease our emissions. And now that we've leveled off in both our built environment growth and our enrollment growth, we're concentrating more on how we can continue to reduce our emissions here on campus. But we're very proud that we were able to continue to reduce our emissions even as we grew exponentially. Again, our LEED portfolio is pretty large. We're sitting around 30 buildings now, both on the main campus and downtown campus. And these make for some great tours. We love to do tours of Research One, which has some really innovative features for occupant health and safety, which is a component of LEED as well, not just the materials or water and energy conservation. LEED also and other high performance building metrics look at occupant health and safety as well. Speaking a little bit more about our energy reduction, one of the metrics that we use is our energy use intensity. And so this kind of highlights the work of that there. So again, even as we've increased our gross square footage, our energy use intensity has gone down drastically as well. So the EPA uses the energy use intensity as the standard benchmark because different sites, different universities have different needs. So this helps to normalize when we're comparing different institutions. So you can just see there that we've continued to progress in this area as well. And here's just a pull out of that feature in District Energy Magazine. To give you a brief summary of this project, it used to be that about 50% of our potable water consumption was for what we call processed water needs. So not necessarily the water that you would use yourself in the bathroom in the building or in the kitchens, but water that went into helping to cool the campus. And so instead of using potable water, we started switching our equipment over to using reclaimed water, which not only helps to decrease our dependency on the aquifer by using recycled water, but it also helps to have a significant cost savings. So we've had major cost and environmental savings from this project. One of the issues that we continue to butt up against is that water conservation. I think a lot of us in the US have this mentality that water is cheap or a free resource, and that is not the case. We pay for it in the long term, and we're always butting up against our consumptive use permit from the St. Johns River Water Management District. And so our efforts here to reduce our water consumption has helped to reduce our dependency on that. I want to highlight some of the student contributions to our operational sustainability here on campus, including our annual kilowatt competition, which is a competition amongst our residence hall students to reduce their energy consumption in the buildings. And at the end of the competition, we had buildings that are awarded winners in each community. And students have the opportunity to apply for scholarships by presenting an art piece or essay about why energy reduction of energy consumption is important. So we've had 15 student winners each year for about for the past 10 years, which has been great. Another student effort out of my office is the campus swap shop, which is an opportunity for students to donate their gently used items at the end of the semester instead of landfilling them. And other students can come up and swap out for other gently used items here. And this has helped to reduce the amount of items going to the landfill. Now turning to our new sustainability plan. So we're underway in this process and we're hoping to complete this within the next year. And there's a lot of community engagement involved in this. And there's an opportunity for you all to engage as well as Valencia students. So part of our plan here is not only to work toward that carbon neutrality goal but we want to expand this plan to be more encompassing of several focus areas to help us meet our ASHE stars platinum goals. Let's skip over here and talk about our 5 focus areas: academics and engagement, energy in the built environment, landscape and natural resources, transportation, and zero waste. So very much mirroring what's happening on the Valencia campus. We're hoping to set a 10-year plan that will help us to reach that carbon neutrality goal, achieve zero waste, and integrate sustainability across all disciplines. And it's a whole campus effort. I like to say sustainability is not just my job, it's everyone's job. And so you can see how intertwined all of the offices on campus are in each of these areas. And just taking a brief highlight of what some of the other universities in the state and the US are that we're taking a look at how we can increase to that platinum certification. I believe there's only 2 to 3 platinum universities right now. We'd love to be the first in Florida to reach platinum. And a lot of that's going to be with student collaboration. The next plan I want to talk about that's underway is our energy transition plan. And you can think of the energy transition plan as the implementation plan for the built environment focus area of the sustainability plan. We're looking at how do we reach net zero carbon emissions by 2040, both with on-site renewables, community renewables, working with our energy providers, working with researchers. How can we get innovative to reach that net zero emissions by 2040? I mentioned there's an opportunity for you to participate in our planning process. We have a community survey open through the month of October. You can see that link there where you can give us your feedback of what you would like UCF Sustainable Future to look like. And I hope you all participate that. And here is my contact information if you want to learn a little bit more about what UCF is doing on campus. You can visit us at sustainable.ucf.edu, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or email me directly at jada.watson@ucf.edu or sustainable@ucf.edu. I'm going to flip it back to the previous page so you guys can get that link down. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, that we're going to open it up for questions.
Correct. Yeah. And feel free to take a camera shot of that link so that way you can access that later to do that community survey. And it's open through the entire month of October, Jada?
That's correct.
So I wanted to ask you, now the energy transition plan for UCF, what exactly is that? Is it about like conserving energy?
Conserving energy is just one component. So energy efficiency has kind of been our bread and butter for a long time. And it's a big way that we've been able to get our gains in our reduction in energy consumption, but that's just one component. We're looking at energy efficiency, renewable energy on campus. The way we build new buildings will continue to be to the highest specifications. And we're looking at how research plays a role in that transition as well. Thanks for that question, Scott.
No problem.
If everyone's had an opportunity to take a picture of that survey, you can go ahead and stop sharing and bring it back to the gallery if you need. Yeah, so are there any questions for Valencia or UCF?
Carrie, there are some questions in the chat.
Perfect, okay. So there was a question about where exactly the money saved from going digital and online, money saved from printing went. And so I will be confirming that, but a lot of it probably did go to just that transition to online and digital and some of the techniques associated with that. And we are using the city of Orlando for composting at West Campus and at the downtown campus culinary program. And because East is not within the city limits of Orlando, unfortunately, we can expand it until being able to partner with O-Town Compost, and that's what allowed us to expand to the east. We do have another question. Jara, this is for you. Can you talk about UCF's green spaces?
Sure, I love this question. So we have some central green spaces on campus. One of our premier green spaces is our Arboretum. Our Arboretum program is fantastic. They're an amazing partner. And not only can you utilize the Arboretum resources as a UCF student, but they welcome the community as well. Our Arboretum has a community garden program, an organic community garden program that's been expanded over the past 2 years. When you volunteer in that garden program, they have over 800 volunteers each year, and a leading by learning program. So UCF students can go through the volunteer program, apply to be a learning by leading coordinator, and have their own program with their own volunteers, like the pollinator garden program or the organic garden program or the natural lands program. So there's lots of opportunities there. They have a beautiful green space out by their building there that a lot of people use for recreation, pitching hammocks up on the trees, having a picnic. There's some picnic tables there. Our ROTC program utilizes that green space as well. There's a lot of green space over by that Arboretum. We also have our natural lands with around 5 trails that run through our natural lands, and you can see 3 to 4 different types of ecosystems as you're walking through those natural lands. There's bike trails. We also have Lake Claire, where you can rent out things like canoes, volleyballs, things like that to participate in more traditional recreation out by Lake Claire as well.
Thank you for that. I love that, learning by leading. That's great.
Yep, so they have around 6 learning by leading coordinators each year. And the volunteer program is a great way to get your feet wet and then apply to be a leader through that program and propose your own project and have volunteers to help facilitate that project. We even have some of the medical students who are growing different herbs that have healing properties and doing different research experiments on that. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Thank you.
So Jara, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So the energy transition plan, could you share a little bit about like the scale of this? Like I know there's an interesting statistic about the UCS, how much energy you guys use with Duke Energy, and could you just share a little bit about that and just kind of the scale of what this means as you guys pursue going, net zero?
Sure. So let me share my screen again and pull up that slide so you guys can take a look at our emissions. Okay. So you can see here that our scope 2 emissions, that is our purchased electricity. So you can see how much of our emissions are taken up by scope 2. We're currently in the process of looking at our scope 3 emissions, but our primary focus is on our scope 1 and scope 2. You can see the change from 2012 to 13-14. This is when our combined heat and power plant went online, and we saw a drop in emissions there. So we kind of like shifted our emissions from scope 2 to scope 1 by producing about 1/3 of our own energy on campus. But scope 2 is a sizable chunk of our emissions on campus. And this chart is just for the main campus. Our energy transition plan is also including our downtown campus, our Rosen campus, and our Lake Nona campuses as well. And so we're working with Duke and OUC on how do we integrate their plans for changing their production methodologies so that we can see greater emissions reductions, not only in the emissions we have control over on campus, our own production, but see some improvements in the electricity we're purchasing as well. Some of that will be shifted with renewables on campus, and we're looking at community solar as well. Even if we were to, we've mapped it out, even if we were to put solar panels on every single building on campus and to a 20% energy efficiency reduction, it wouldn't meet our need. And so we have to be innovative in how do we get to that full net zero without just that rooftop mounted solar.
Thank you. And isn't it something like UCF is the 6th largest consumer of energy or purchaser of energy from Duke Energy?
I think we might even be in the top 3.
Oh, wow. So just to kind of, you know, put that in perspective, in the US, or at least the Southeast, if not the US.
At least Florida, I think we're top 3.
Okay. Okay.
So partnering with the utility is definitely an imperative because we're not in the business of being an energy producer. You know, we're educators, and so there has to be a balance between our on-site generation and our purchase electricity.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Hey, Carrie, as a facilitator, maybe I can put you on the spot. I noticed that UCF's, all of their buildings are rated using the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED rating system. Can you address why Valencia switched to green globes?
Yes, I can. Great question, Professor Ray. So part of it was because this bipolar ionization, which basically is an energy efficiency method, as well as improved indoor air quality by reducing the amount of outdoor air they had to bring in, but also by cleaning the air. That was not, years ago, was not included in the LEED certification process points that you could get as you were trying to certify your building. So it was included, or we could get points through the Green Globes program. So that was one of the leading factors in making the switch to Green Globes. So I kind of like to say it's a little bit like Coke and Pepsi, pretty comparable, and it still helps you get that more energy efficient, healthier building at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, I should point out too, in our conversations, we've thought about not going for LEED certification specifically because of the cost associated with just certifying the building. It is possible to build to LEED specifications without going for the certification that costs money. So I wouldn't be too hung up on any one certification type, because it's definitely possible to implement those characteristics without going for the certification itself. I see a question from Kelly. Is it expensive? Yes, it is expensive to certify buildings. Not just the methodologies itself, you know, to get that higher performing building, but that plaque, you know, is expensive itself. So it does add to the overall cost. We do have a LEED Gold minimum on campus, and we specify specific LEED credits that are important to us. And that's kind of how we've helped to offset some of the costs associated with that, is looking at which credits get us the most bang for our buck.
And the whole green building certification process is great because it helps look at buildings holistically. So it's not just your materials and your energy efficiency, which is crucial because you know, it might cost a little bit more money up front in the construction to make your building a little bit more energy efficient, but it will save you on the utility bills later on. But it also looks at where these buildings are located, what's around it. So are there places for food, is there public transportation, you know, banks? So just basically amenities nearby so that people don't have to get in their cars and drive 10, 15 minutes to get to the nearest place for lunch. So it's really smart, holistic planning and design from the beginning, and trying to get all the stakeholders together at the beginning to kind of cast the vision for the building and the use. So then that way they can also create spaces that can be activated. So it's a great way to do buildings and architecture because it brings everyone together at the table at the beginning.
Absolutely. Another interesting feature is, whether a building has showers. So if you want to bike to work or school, you can clean up and feel fresh for the day. Another way that we've mitigated the cost is we went ahead and went for the LEED campus certification, so that in the future, when we go to certify a specific building, we've already gotten some credits from the LEED campus certification that are kind of built in.
Any other questions or thoughts or comments? Is this resonating? If you want to put something in the chat, like, is this resonating? Are you excited? Does this kind of give you hope about, hey, work is being done to address climate change?
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Carrie, about, I know we mentioned about the kilowatt competition, and I know there was like donations made. What specific donations were made in that competition, you think, as far as?
Yeah, I'm going to actually have to throw that over to my colleague, Yara.
Yes, so our kilowatt competition is between our residents and our on-campus residents. And so they compete amongst the buildings in their community to reduce their energy consumption. What I think you're referencing is the campus swap shop. That's a separate event where people can donate their gently used items and students can come and pick out items that they would like. And so donations we get are clothes, bikes, microwaves, and other household appliances that are, fit in the dorms. Let's see, what else? Art supplies, different things that might appeal to, we work with our pride groups on campus, so different things that might appeal to our LGBTQ population. That's a special section there. So lots of all kinds of stuff that students use that they may have not any need for anymore can be donated. We do have our Nights Helping Nights pantry, which is open year round, that students can get gently used items for. All they have to do is show their ID to get in and take us. The only limits they have is sometimes there's a 5 perishable item limit, because we do get fresh produce from our organic community garden. We get pantry items as well in partnership with First Harvest Food Bank. Did I get that right, Carrie?
Second Harvest.
Second Harvest.
I've heard of that place actually. So
yes, so we work with Second Harvest and we get on-campus donations. So students have a fantastic resource to get food, toiletries, clothes. They have a suit rental program, business wear rental program. So there's all types of resources on campus for students there. But I love that our organic community garden donates fresh produce to our Nights Helping Nights pantry, so you can go and get fresh produce. We even keep recipes up there for folks, so you can know how to utilize the produce in the pantry. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
Jara, I love that you mentioned your Nights Helping Nights, because here at Valencia, we also have Cookies Pantry. So this is where students can come. You just need, again, a valid student ID, and you can get food and some personal items. And so again, really no questions asked. You just have to show that valid ID. And we have one of these on each of our campuses. And we have just recently partnered with Second Food Harvest to be able to get some more kind of fresh fruits and vegetables. So I put a link to Cookies Pantry in the chat as well. So definitely a great resource that we offer here and that we are expanding upon. So I'm excited about that as well.
Well, thank you so much, Carrie. Again, if anyone has any additional questions about sustainability at UCF, please feel free to email me at sustainable@ucf.edu. I loved being here with all of you guys and all of your great questions.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining the next session. We will be having Chris Castro and Jeff Benavides. They are the Chief Sustainability Officers, one for the City of Orlando and the other one's for the from Orange County, and that's starting at 11:30. Same link. So we hope to have you all join us for that. And then also this evening, we are having a panel discussion with Orange County Commissioner Nicole Wilson, State Senator Linda Stewart, and then also Professor Jim Edinsky. He will be representing the science side. We have politics, science, and then also business and innovation, talking about climate tech. So that will be a great panel discussion this evening at 6:30, same link. So we'll hope to see you guys back for these sessions and also more tomorrow. So thank you everyone for attending, and we look forward to seeing you guys again. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
And thank you all.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Sorry I came a little late today. This is the first time I actually done anything like this, so yeah.
No worries. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Hopefully you learned some stuff and it was beneficial.
Yeah, some environmental things going on. Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, my name is Levins. Yeah.
Levins. How did you
Yeah,
hear about
I'm
the
new here.
conference?
My English teacher